Jessica here. Let's see. Hi, everyone. We're going to go through. Have your ballots out. Oh, hi. How's your beautiful pregnancy belly? Own it, babe. Anyone who wants to grab their ballot, we're going to ask some major questions to Jessica, who knows everything about everything in the voting world, and figure out some of this stuff, because it's really confusing. And I thought it would be a good idea to get some real answers. Guys, how do I invite Jessica in here? Hi, Jenny. Ariel Sky. Guys, all nice people are here. Kristen! I was just wearing the headband that you made us with your flowers. Oh gosh, guys, I'm so inept. Why does the screen keep going? Well, this is going to be a great video, Kristen. Oh, guys, I can't figure it out. It's good to see you too, Ariel. Well, I mean, I would start, but I literally don't know. I mean, I've like circled things in here, but I don't really understand all of it, which is why we're doing this. Greg Kada told me to tell you hi. I love Greg Kada. She would have requested to join. Thank you. How do I find that? This is why I shouldn't be allowed to use technology. I guess we just hang out. What are we doing? We're going to talk about how to figure out our ballot. Because, yay, Good News Movement is here. Because the ballot is so confusing. And all the measures are like written in a way that seems like opposite day. And I'm really over that. Just like be forthright and tell me what I'm voting on. And I have a lot of questions also about like provisional ballots. And I have a bunch of questions that I want to ask Jessica, who is... She runs News Not Noise. If anybody doesn't know what that is, I highly recommend following it. It's like, besides NPR, which I love, it's like a great place to just get both sides of the story, unbiased news coverage, which I really appreciate because I like to hear all the sides. And oops, I haven't voted yet either. Go get your ballot, girl. Your shirt with your eyes is on point. Thank you. You guys are sweet. Thanks, my little turtleneck. Oh my God, I'm getting a phone call. What do I do? Wait a minute. This is that scam thing that happened last time during my live. Voting in person tomorrow. Okay, great. Grab your mask, girl. Go do it. NPR rules, of course. Like, truly my dream job would be to be Larry Mantle's assistant. That's cool. God, I'm such a dork. Larry Mantle's assistant. Can you say the name of her platform again? News Not Noise. Jessica Yellen. You guys, Larry Mantle does some of the best reporting. I love him so much. He asks the most thorough questions. And I just want to like be his assistant forever and just like do whatever he needs me to do and be on his team. For some reason, it's not letting me in. Jessica, let me tap you. Pin comment, reply, go live with Jessica. What if I invite you? Add her to. There's hope. There's hope, guys.
Oh yeah! God, that was epic.
We did it.
Hi.
Hi.
So easy.
So easy. You know, we're lucky. I'm very comfortable with just verbal diarrhea, stream of consciousness. Impressive. So whatever, you know.
Answers from you. Thank you.
If you just need someone to fill the airwaves and talk about absolutely nothing, that's me. But you do the opposite. You fill the airwaves with absolutely something, and I am so grateful for it. I rely on your news coverage to not only give me both sides of the story, to be honest, because you do a great job reporting, but also to condense it in a way that I can digest, because I don't have time to watch television and news coverage all day, every day. And so I so appreciate what you do for our country, to be honest.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I really appreciate it. I'm a huge fan. So.
And like, what do we do here? Like, what do we do? I also I think I circled some things and then I went back and I'm like, I don't know why I circled that. I have a bunch of questions for you.
Okay, great.
Okay. I wrote them down here. Okay. So let's just start with basics, because I've actually done this before and no one should feel embarrassed. But I did have to ask this a while ago and I now know the answer. Do you circle or check the right choice?
So in California, you circle it, but in Texas, you do an X. So the most important thing I know is when you get your ballot.
What the heck, Texas? Why you gotta be different?
The thing is, this time around, there could be a lot of lawyers looking at the ballots after the fact. So you really want to be extra careful that you followed the instructions. Take the time to read the directions so that you fill it out correctly so that your vote will definitely be counted.
Right, because we're looking at everything through a microscope now, because there's so many sides and so many opinions, and we want to make sure that we're filling in that whole circle. But then if you're in Texas, you do an X?
You do an X. It says it clearly in the ballot. So if you're doing the oval, definitely fill the whole thing in. Don't make it light. Another thing, use a ballpoint pen. If you have a mail-in ballot, don't use felt because you don't want it to bleed and make a mess. And I'm going to get really anal here. Use blue or black. If you're one of these people who loves your pink pen and your green pen, that's great. Save it for arts and crafts. For the ballot, keep it old school. Blue, black, ballpoint. Blue,
black, fill in the circle completely and utterly, just like the Scantron. What are you? I would almost call them the PTSDs. Is that Freudian or what? SATs.
But we still have PTSD from everything.
We have PTSD from the SATs. Yeah. Okay. Fill in the whole entire circle. I do believe I've gotten that correct on this one, except Texas, which is an X. Okay. Okay, signature matching. I've been hearing a lot about this. Tell me what signature matching is and why it's important.
So I mentioned that there might be lawyers looking at the ballots after the fact. One thing they'll look at is 31 states have this rule that says when you sign your ballot, either on the envelope or on the ballot, depending where you live, they're going to match it against the signature they have for you on file with the state. So you want your signature to match what they have on file. So where do they get that original signature? It's like on your driver's license or on your voter registration form. So my general advice on this is, let's say you got super free in your life lately and you've gone to super loopy cursive, right? Or whatever the thing is.
Rewind.
OG style.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense because my husband and I have very different signatures. Mine's pretty loopy and his is just a squiggle. And I'm like, that's so, that's a crazy signature. And he's like, yeah, but you'd also never think it was mine, right? And I'm like, oh, it's a good point. So go back to your OG, almost first day of driver's license signature and make sure, because I would have, I think, made that mistake because you're also, this ballot can feel so intense. And that's why we're doing this. We want to make sure it's not intense. And at the end of the night, I'm like, oh, just get it in. And I scribble too much. And then that could actually mean my vote's not counted when the lawyers get their hands on it.
Yes, correct. So
woo!
Don't stress too much, but just try to be aware of it as you're doing the signature.
Right, exactly. Okay. What if I don't want to vote on all the things in this ballot? Can I leave anything blank?
Yes. It's your ballot. You can answer the parts you want and you can leave the parts you want blank. And it still counts.
Amazing. Okay. Did you hear that, Frank? It's my ballot. This is Frank.
Oh, hi, Frank.
It's my ballot, Frank.
So
I'm voting for us. I'm voting for us. Okay. What are some good resources to learn about the things that I don't necessarily know? Like, I know some of my neighbors are like very into city council, which is like super cute. And I'm all up for splitting the cognitive labor. And I'm like, if we think alike and we've had some good conversations about the basics of our ethics, and you're like encouraging me to look into this woman for city council, like I'm going to do it and I'm going to get on board. But there's some races that I don't know anything about. So what are some good resources that I can go to like learn about the things I don't understand on the ballot?
So where you're coming from is where so many people come from. I'm a political reporter and I look at the ballot and I don't know half of what's on my ballot. So there's no shame in not knowing. There's a couple ways to handle it. One is this really excellent resource I like called ballotready.org. They ask for a little bit of your personal info, like your zip code and where you live. And then they'll spit back like what's on your ballot, and they'll explain all the things from different sides. What you can also go to like your local newspaper, usually an NPR might do it, but Ballot Ready is across the country. And one thing I really like is what you said is like you rely on your neighbor. I get a group of my friends together and we divide up the ballot and all research 2 pages and they research 2, and that way you split it all up. And then you can have like a Zoom with wine, like a book club, and everybody gets together and write dishes about their part.
Okay, I dig this. So ballotready.org, wine is what I got. Okay, that sounds good. I like that. Okay, what else do I have? So I had this question, but does my vote not count unless I fill out the entire ballot? But you might have answered that because I'm allowed to leave some things blank.
Yeah, you're allowed to leave it blank. One thing I'll add on that, which is some people think I have to have the right answer. Like I have to be certain that this candidate's going to do what I want. Nobody knows. It's not a test. You don't have to be perfect. You just do your best.
Right. And actually, that's been a funny experience because my husband and I usually always vote together. And this year I got all my girlfriends together and we tried to go through it as a preliminary. But usually my husband and I vote together. And sometimes we will see a measure that or a prop that's on our ballot that we're genuinely confused about. And I'm like, I see this side, but I also see that side. What do we do? And I'll vote yes and he'll vote no. And I'm like, well, we might as well both just let it go blank. But, you know, it's important, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. What if I'm voting, but now this is me to a T because I'm not handy with, I'm not filling it out with this. I'm just doing magic. What if I'm voting by mail, but I mess up my ballot? Like, let's say my child writes all over it, or I just am like, shoot, I wasn't supposed to vote for that person. How do I get a new one?
What I would do at this point, just to be practical, is I'd take that ballot and go to your nearest voting location in person.
Okay.
Because it might take too long for it to come by mail to request a new one. So go vote in person, but what you do is you bring the damaged ballot with you because they're going to probably ask you to hand it in so that you can vote in person.
Right. You're going to have to bring that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm glad that these are sort of like a funny big shape because they're easier not to lose in the midst of all your other mail. Okay, what if I requested a mail-in ballot, but I would rather vote in person? Because I have considered that of like, maybe I just want to go with my COVID-safe stuff on the day. What do I do if I have this in my hand that I've done, but I want to go vote in person?
I'm going to do that because I changed my mind and I want to vote in person, but I have the mail-in. So what you have to do, at least in our state in California and in most states, is carry that mail-in ballot with you to the polling place in person. Hand over your mail-in ballot to get an in-person ballot. And that makes sense because they want to make sure you're not voting twice, right? So you just need to make sure that you bring that with you so that you can have a full ballot when you go in for the in-person vote.
And by the way, let's just put a stop to all that noise, not news right now. Like there's a ton of precautions in place to make sure that people don't vote a second time. Like to even say that there might not be precautions in place and anyone can get away with anything is like astronomically incorrect, given the fact that lawyers are going to review these. Everyone's going to want to see them, especially this election, to make sure we know who won. No one's going to be voting twice. There's rules that prevent that. And one of them is that you'll have to hand this over if you want to go in person so that they'll know, like, well, no, you can't vote in person unless you hand me this because I'm not going to let you vote twice.
1,000%. ballot fraud is so rare. There's this place called the Brennan Center for Justice, and they found that it happens like 0.000000006% of the time. So little that I can't even tell you what the math of that is. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen. So ballot fraud's not really a thing.
Also, to be blunt, who in their right mind would do this twice?
I know, it's so crazy.
It's confusing enough to do once. Guys, this is a fallacy. Nobody's doing this twice, okay? People don't even want to do it once. They're certainly not doing it twice, okay? Okay, here's a good one that I wrote down. Do I have to put postage on my ballot to mail it in?
So no, it should go in on its own. I honestly, at this point, would take your ballot to a drop box or to an in-person voting location, just because the states have different rules about when the ballots count and if it's late, and the post office and blah, blah, blah. Just to be sure, I'd find a drop box near you, which is easy to do. Google drop box near me. We can all do that. Find the address and go there, or again, go to your in-person voting place.
Great. And also I realized this is what a lot of people are struggling with, who are busy and, don't read very well, which is why I'm grateful for you. It clearly says no postage necessary if mailed in the United States, but I'm actually glad I asked, because there are no stupid questions, because I am, to be honest, have been in my house for 9 months, and I for a reason to get in the car and drive somewhere and put this in a ballot. So I'm going to, I guess Google Dropbox near me and then just drop it off, because I would kind of love to get in my car and out of my house momentarily.
I'll also tell you, on our website, which is newsnotnoise.com, there's a voting resources page that lists all the resources I've talked about and ways to find out where your Dropbox is, to learn about the rules in my state. We found what we thought are the best websites and put them all together.
Awesome. Okay, so News Not Noise, they're going to have a lot of resources, as well as ballotready.org. Okay. Okay, here's some in-person voter questions, because I haven't decided if I want to go in person yet.
Yes.
Is there anything that's not allowed to happen when I vote?
Yes, this is a really good question. When you go vote in person, if they say it closed and you're in line, you have the right to vote. They are not allowed to tell you to leave. So let's say your polling place closes at 7, you've been there since 6, the line is so long, you're still waiting in line. Somebody comes out and says, sorry guys, we're closed. Do not leave the line. Stand there and call the election protection hotline, which is 1-866-OUR-VOTE. There are lawyers who are going to be on standby all night. And what they do is they go to the court really fast, and they get what's called an injunction to keep the polling place open and make sure that you can still vote. The main thing to do is don't get out of line, stay in line, and call that number.
Okay, amazing. 1-866-OUR, as in O-U-R.
Correct.
Vote.
Correct.
Okay, stay in line even if the door is closed. I feel like that's my kids' rule whenever I'm in the bathroom. Stay out the door, especially
So
when
natural in your household.
bang, bang, bang. Okay, I've heard a little bit about voter intimidation, but I don't really understand what it means. Can you tell me kind of what that looks like?
Yes. Nobody around a polling place is allowed to do what they call electioneering, which is campaign for their candidate. So as a side note, like, let's say you're super enthusiastic for a candidate or an issue, leave it at home. Don't wear the merch, don't put it on your shirt, don't talk about it, go to vote and keep it to yourself.
So I can wear my t-shirt that says Kristen Bell for president to the polling place. Okay.
No, keep it super basic. That can get you booted.
Okay.
Nobody's allowed to try to change your vote while you're in line. No one's allowed to stand over your shoulder and watch who you're voting for. And no law enforcement or like deportation agents or any of those people are allowed to surround a voting place and threaten to take a law enforcement action against you while you're on your way to vote.
100%.
And if any of those things happens, you call that election protection number 866-OUR-VOTE.
Okay, so 866-OUR-VOTE should just be programmed into our phones prior to going, especially if you're going to stand in line. If you see voter intimidation, or if you see, hi Frank, if you see that they've closed the door on the polling place, 1-866-OUR-VOTE. Frank is so geeked about voting, you guys.
He's so into voting.
You love voting? Do you love voting, you little monkey? Okay, what is a provisional ballot?
Oh.
Why would I need one?
That's a backup ballot. So let's say you go to the polling place and you had a mail-in ballot at home and you didn't bring it with you. Or you get there and they say you're not registered to vote and you're like, I am. Why am I not on the list?
Last year. I mean, yeah, it happened to me very recently.
And you're like, this is messed up. Don't leave. First you say, do you have same-day registration? Because in California, you can just show up and register on the spot. And other states, many states don't have that. And then you say, I'd like a provisional ballot. By law, you're entitled to that. Same ballot everyone else gets. You vote on it, ask for the receipt. And then you can track that ballot and make sure that it got counted.
Oh, you can track your ballot?
You can track your provisional ballot and you can track your regular ballot.
How do you do that?
Every state is different. And so that's why we have this gathering of resources on the website. But when you go to the website and look up your state, you'll figure out how to track your ballot. In California, it's super sophisticated. They'll SMS text you. In Florida, you have to log onto a website and take a little more effort. Some states don't let you do it at all. So you got to see how it goes where you live.
Okay. And then, okay, so my last question is that I am hearing a lot from different people that we're not going to know on election night. Why is that?
It's because we've just been talking about all these mail-in ballots. And because of COVID, millions of people are voting early by mail-in ballot. We've never seen this load of early ballots. And it takes a ton of time to count them. And in a lot of states, the rules say they can't even start to count the early ballots until election day.
That's not efficient.
It's ridiculous. And
I'm not going to tell you that's not efficient.
At some other point, we should all have a conversation about why it's so hard to vote in this country and why it's so backwards and how we can fix that. But the bottom line is, because in lots of places they can't process millions of ballots until election day, that night we might not know the winner. So we should all be prepared for the possibility that it'll be a long night, November 3rd, and we won't know who won even by November 4th. Whoa!
Franklin, he's trying
not like that.
No, he's desperately trying to get my attention. He's just sitting here like he wants so badly. Look at this.
So love her. I want one.
Oh, and I'm not concentrating on him, so he's trying to get my attention.
I love it.
So November 3rd is not going to be. Here, I told you. Ay, caramba, Franklin. Like nutso. Okay, so November 3rd, we're not going to have an answer. We should be prepared for that.
We may not. But if we don't, it's not shocking. We know why things aren't broken. It's just slow.
It's just slow and it's normal.
It's normal because we're going to have like 80 million mail-in ballots. We've never seen anything like this. You know how hard it is going to be to count them? It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not. Okay, wait. Somebody has this question. I received a text that my mail-in ballot was sent, but I did not receive it. What do I do?
Oh, a lot of people are having this problem. So two things. You should call and try to track your ballot and figure out where it is. Wait a little bit because we have a few more days.
Who do they call?
The registrar of voters, or just do the ballot tracking thing for your area, which is you have to go to the website. The bottom line is, let's say your ballot never shows up, go vote in person. And then you say, my ballot never showed up, and they will either let you same day register or do the provisional ballot thing we talked about. You definitely have a backstop. In-person voting is your option if that mail-in ballot never shows.
So there's a couple backups. You can either track it, you don't feel like you can do that, you can go and they can either find you or they can give you a provisional.
Yeah.
But you can definitely, and we should all have a 6-hour vote programmed into our phones. In case of voter intimidation. Look, if you see me wearing Frank for President on my sweatshirt, I hope you call him.
I'm going to call him on you, for sure.
I hope you call them on me. And what was the other reason we call? Oh, if they close the door.
That's a big one. And that actually happened in Kentucky in the primary recently. And there were hundreds of people in line and they closed the door. And everybody stayed in line. They got an injunction and they opened it back up and people were voting all night. We could see people voting till like 2 a.m. for all we know this time.
Okay, here's two other great questions coming in. What with signatures, does it have to match your driver's license exactly? If my license has a middle initial and I didn't put a middle initial on the ballot, is it null with lawyers afterward?
I would sign consistent with your signature, actually. They're matching it to your signature that they have on file. So I would try to match that.
So put the middle initial because that's the signature that person's asking about. Like on the driver's license, let's say it's like Sarah A. Block. But
this is a tricky one. This is where lawyers will get involved. I mean, the other argument is the ballot is in the name without the signature. So we're going to be lawyers right now. I'm actually not sure. Can I actually look into that and I'll post something to this? I'll let you know.
I'm going to screen cap so we can give this person, a direct.
Yeah, I don't want to get this wrong.
Hold on. Oh my gosh, I can't live in the future, guys. I can't do it.
This is so hard.
Every time I go down, it widens the dang frame.
I don't know. It's glitchy today. I think it's today the app is weird.
It's really, it's
not you.
It absolutely keeps,
pulling up.
Jeff, I think Jeffiner or something. Would you mind posting that question again one more time, baby, so I can take a picture of your Instagram handle so we can get you that answer.
JEFFNER_09? No.
Maybe, yeah, that looks like it. What if I circled the wrong choice for one of the props? Can I exit out the wrong one and circle the answer I want?
On a mail-in ballot, no. If it's a mail-in ballot and it's paper, you have to get a new ballot. So you'll have to go to an in-person voting location and either turn it in or get a new one there. You can't you can't cross something out once it's marked on the paper ballot. I know, it's a bummer.
Oh yeah, Jeffiner_09. Hot Mess Mom 21 just told us, and I really like Hot Mess Mom 21. Okay, yeah, and I will tell you something that happened to me. I had two ballots come, one to Kristen Bell and one to Miss MISS Kristen Bell.
Oy.
But I had them come to different addresses, and I don't know why. But different addresses is in like we have an office,
right,
which is the address we usually use, and then we have a home one, and I had Miss Kristen Bell come to the office and Kristen Bell come to the home, and I was told to use the one that says Kristen Bell coming to the home.
Yeah, I would use your home one. And it's in California, they send it to every residence. They must have mistaken it for a residence. Yeah. But, vote once. Yeah, no, I'm clearly not going to vote. I can tell you something for sure. I am not filling this out twice. I know. The fact that that's even been a thing is so comical. I'm like, what are people even talking about? It's like, I'm going to take the SATs twice. No, you're not. I know we need to get more people to vote. It's not like too many people are voting too often. It's
100%. Okay. You can cross something out in the Oregon ballot if you make a mistake. Check the rules of your ballot.
Oh, okay. So listen, this is where I have to repeat. Go to the website. There is this thing that says, what are the ballot rules in my state? Click there, and it's the best resource for all the details where you live. Some states have different nuances, so I should actually be very clear about that. So go and double check in your state and read the instructions. That's the most important thing. It's all there on the ballot.
And Jamie Salsa, I think it said, I voted in 2016. Do I still need to register? I feel like I know the answer to this. You still at least need to check if you're registered, because I've been knocked off before where they're like, you're not registered. And I'm like, yes, I am. I'm 100% positive I'm registered, and they just somehow don't have it. And it's just I don't know why.
A lot of states have purged voter rolls, and it's hard to tell what standards they're using and how consistent they are. So the best thing to do is exactly what you said. Check that you're registered. And if you're not, definitely get in touch with your Board of Elections and deal with it ASAP.
Okay. I feel like you filled me up with an amazing amount of information. I feel a little bit confident to tackle these now. Does anybody else have any questions before we let Jessica go? Yeah, I wish all the same rules I wish all the states had the same rules about voting. Yeah, me too. But states' rights are also kind of cool, so I get it.
We do make voting very hard in this country, and we should work on that.
Yeah, a lot of people do that on purpose because they
Right.
don't want people to vote. Because if the people are voting, it means the people are going to get their way. So that's the blunt truth, guys.
But the people have the power to change it, so we could do something about it.
Always.
Time.
Always. Postmarked or arrived by? Postmarked, right? Postmarked November 3rd.
Yeah, postmarked November 3rd. In most states, it varies by state. So you again have to look at the ballot rules in your state. In Pennsylvania, they just said it can be postmarked but arrive late. Some states, that's not true. So out of an abundance of caution, at this point, I would walk it in again.
Yeah, like, here's the great excuse. We can't celebrate Halloween this year, really. We can't really gather, and we can't, like, even, like, our kids were just going to put buckets of candy in the backyard and be like, we're trick-or-treating in the backyard this year.
That's fun to me.
Right? Well, guess what? Everybody's still getting candy bars, so no one should be complaining. But we have more time because we can't really put 2 hours into our costumes, so spend that time doing this and get it in before November 3rd.
I like your thinking.
That's what your mom would say.
It's your Halloween costume time.
Use it wisely. I'm so grateful that you helped me because I needed help. I wanted to talk to you specifically, and I feel like I got my questions answered. And yeah, just I'm appreciative, and thank you for letting me broadcast this as well because I think a lot of other people might have needed this help.
You're
what's the website for looking up ballot info again?
First of all, go to newsnotnoise.com for all the voting resources because they vary by state. The thing .com, and there's a voting resources page there. Go to that, and it has all the best websites. But the thing that's specifically for your ballot is ballotready.org.
Ballotready.org. Okay.
And you are amazing. I would hang out with you anyway. Any day. You have the best energy.
Thanks. Well, I am very excited to vote. I genuinely am. I talk to my kids about voting. Sometimes we vote in the house just to give little examples. It's an even number, though, so it screws us often. But anyway, thank you so much for your time. I will keep this up. Oh, how do I? Geez, questions keep coming in. One last one.
You can also go to Better Know a Ballot. Yeah, there's Ballotpedia. There's Know Your Vote. There are a ton of resources.
How do I find my voting place? First of all, it says when, November 3rd. You have to vote by November 3rd. November 3rd, November 3rd. Tattoo it on your low back. That's when we choose big elections. My shirt is from Ghani. Somebody's asking, how do you find it? You voting near me, voting place near me.
Yep. You can also go to I am a voter, text I am a voter to I am a voter. Just come to your phone. Text voter to 26797 and they'll text you your voting location.
Can you say that one more time? Because I think you broke up and I want to make sure it comes clear.
Okay. If you text the number 26797 with the word voter, they will send you your voting location by text. It's called, it's a group called I Am a Voter, and it's great. It's backwards, but I can send it to you so you can post it.
No.
We have to work on that functionality. I don't know how to get it right ways.
I can do it.
You can do it. You can write it backwards?
I'm doing it for America.
Oh my God.
Jessica, this is for America. 26797.
You should get a Peabody for that.
26F9F.
26797. I'm really impressed. Voter.
Voter. Okay, I really will let you go. Thank you so much.
You're amazing.
For all that you do. And yeah, everybody get out there and vote.
Go vote. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.